Welcome to Media Space Members Daily. We bring you exclusive interviews from our leadership group and other professional influencers within the media GovTech community globally. Today I have with me Edina Heal, founder and CEO of Equaliser Foundation, a charity that works for equal rights for men and women, former CEO of Google Hungary and a former radio executive. Hi Edina, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Glad to be here.
I'm good, thank you. As founder of Equaliser and a former media executive, how do you see the challenges for female leaders?
As a former female executive myself, I have encountered a lot of sexism through my career, of course, every day probably, although luckily I didn't notice them every day, and I think that helps me to get ahead. It's very important that I was always giving myself, and I managed to enjoy my work through through my career. And everyday sexism didn't really stop me climbing the corporate ladder. Unfortunately, I know that it did stop a lot of other women around me, because when I got to the top, I looked around and I felt pretty alone. And I think this is really where the trouble starts, when you start to become a real minority, when you notice that you are different from everyone else in the group, let's say in a decision group or board. You start to behave differently, you start to alter your words, your behavior, probably even your ideas. We are social animals, we are trying to fit in. Now, once everybody thinks the same, talks the same, there is a lack of diversity of thoughts, and innovation starts to die, and we are not able to represent anymore all the groups and all the various opinions that we should be representing, let's say, at a decision table. And I think this is really holding companies back. This is holding back whole countries and industries in general. I think we need to start building things and work and life in general, everything fit for everyone, not just for the privileged groups.
What opportunities did COVID-19 bring for your NGO's mission?
It brought a lot of pain, I have to say, as it brought for everyone. I wouldn't want to hide that as an NGO, we live from corporate sponsorship. Of course, corporate sponsorship right now is not so preoccupied about giving to charities, or if they give to charities, they tend to give to those who are really affected on a much bigger scale because of the crisis. But I think in general for women, for working women, what the situation brought is that it showed the companies and showed to executives, whether they are men or women, that it's possible to work from home, especially if you are in an office environment, which is a lot of us are. So I think it's going to give more opportunity for especially women to work part-time, or that they can take up jobs, both men and women, that don't require them to be in the office all the time. So I think in terms of gender equality, both at work and at home, the opportunity to work more from home is going to help everyone. The other thing it shows for people and for families and executives in that whole group as well, is that there's lots of work at home. There's lots of what we call invisible work, although I like to name it unpaid work, that people saw how much unpaid work women are doing at home. And we all know that this is disproportionate, and women are doing more of this than men. And now that the man had to stay at home with the children and the family as well, I think in most places and in most families, they chipped in a lot more than before. And they realized what a burden there are on women in general. And hopefully that will change, as also the kids who stayed and were helped by both parents at home can see this new example.
What's your advice for the media space community to be more equal in the media, tech and regulation sectors?
For my advice for the media is that media is very powerful. We all know that. And I'm quite a bit disappointed that most media in the world are not using their power to help inequality, and media needs to showcase more women leaders, needs to give more space for women who work, who can show to the world and for the next generations that they are not only housewives and they're not only pretty and quiet creatures, but they actually, good thinkers, serious thinkers, responsible, very educated. And I think it is media's role to showcase these women, and with that to give role models for the future generations. So I'd really like to see editors to think more cautiously and to be more aware of their role in this space.
Thank you, Edina, for joining me and for sharing your knowledge and expertise. It's great to hear from you. Stay tuned for the next episode of Mediaspace Members Daily. In the meantime, connect with us at mediaspace.global.